Good evening and welcome to our nightly telecast of Just the News, where we bring you everything important that's happened in the country and the world in about 10 minutes. Let's get straight to it. Big changes and announcements for students taking the 10th and the 12th standard examinations from across the country. The Education Ministry of the central government has decided to postpone the CBSE board examinations for the 12th standard and to cancel the examinations in the 10th standard. The ministry will review the situation around the 1st of June and make a decision on the fresh date for the 12th standard examinations. They will be given, of course, a notice of about 15 days before the examinations begin. The Education Minister has said that students in class 10 will be promoted based on internal assessments of the year, and if students are not satisfied with their score from that assessment, they can choose to take the examination again when the COVID situation has normalized. There have been a slew of announcements from state boards in reaction to this. Madhya Pradesh has decided to postpone class 10 and 12 board examinations to the first week of June. The Karnataka government has said that it will not take a decision on cancelling the 10th standard examinations. The state primary and secondary education minister S. Suresh Kumar has said the exams will be conducted from the 21st of June. And he's also said that keeping in view the situation in the future, an appropriate decision will be taken. In Rajasthan, the government has postponed class 10 and 12 examinations of the state board. It has also announced that students of class 8, 9 and 11 will be promoted without examinations. The Maharashtra Education Minister Varsha Gaikwad has said the state government will study and discuss the CBSE's fresh announcement of cancelling class 10 examinations before deciding any such thing in Maharashtra as well. Remember, Maharashtra was the first to postpone class 10 and 12 examinations in the state. Let's take a look at news coming in on the COVID side. News coming in from Gujarat right now. Quick trigger warning for our viewers. You might find some of this information worrying or disturbing. The Gujarat government and the local media are at loggerheads over the COVID data being released by the government. The local media accuses the government of drastically underplaying the numbers. Now, there is a very detailed report on this in Scroll, the online news portal. Now, according to that report, in Ahmedabad, the state government had declared just 20 COVID deaths on the 12th of April, but Sandesh, a leading Gujarati newspaper, claimed at least 63 people died in just one government-run hospital on that same day. Sandesh had apparently stationed a reporter outside the morgue of the hospital for 17 hours to simply count bodies. The state government had also claimed that there were 0 COVID deaths in Jamnagar on Tuesday and just 1 on Sunday, but a local digital publication, Khabar Gujarat, has claimed that 100 people in Jamnagar died of the virus in 48 hours on April 10th and 11th, and on the 13th of April, the news site reported 54 deaths in the city. The Times of India had said that SSG Hospital in Vadodara, which is one of the biggest hospitals in central Gujarat, reported 142 COVID deaths in the last 7 days. That's an average of 20 deaths per day. But the Vadodara Municipal Corporation has said the city has reported less than 5 deaths per day. Adding the numbers of just 2 government hospitals, the Times of India has reported that there were 300 deaths reported per week. This figure excludes the number of deaths in private and other government hospitals, and it's definitely more than the 5 a day reported by the Municipal Corporation of Vadodara. In Surat, the state government officially recorded 22 deaths each on April 12th and 13th. The city's crematoriums, however, claimed that they have been receiving nearly 3 or 4 times the normal number of bodies they receive every day. News channel TV9 reported that on the 11th of April, at least 25 bodies were cremated together in an open-air ground adjoining Surat's Ramnath Ghela crematorium in order to shorten the wait time for crematoriums right now. The Surat Municipal Corporation had, in fact, according to reports, itself opened the ground so that the pyres could be lit at night. Also, it is customary normally for cremations to happen during the day before sunset, but pyres are being lit at night according to reports. Apart from deaths, there are concerns also about shortages of beds, oxygen, widely being shared on social media. There were videos of long lines of ambulances waiting for entry into Ahmedabad Civil Hospital. In one video, Zee News counted 21 ambulances with patients inside on Sunday night waiting for entry into the hospital because the hospitals were already full. Obviously, if the government is not acknowledging these alleged reports of shortages and of deaths, it would mean that there isn't enough steps being taken to correct these problems as well. You'll also remember the last couple of days we've reported that the Gujarat High Court has taken cognizance of the matter also. In the meantime, India has reported 184,372 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. This is the highest single day rise since the pandemic began. The country has also reported more than 1,000 deaths in one day for the first time this year. India has consistently been reporting more than 1 lakh cases for 8 consecutive days. Some of the states that are seeing a spike, Karnataka has recorded more than 8,000 cases and 67 deaths in 24 hours. Bangalore alone accounts for 63% of those COVID cases. In Delhi, COVID ICU beds with ventilators are fully occupied in 69 hospitals out of a total of 94 hospitals, and there are currently only 79 beds available according to the official government app on Wednesday. In Tamil Nadu, 7,819 cases were reported in 24 hours and 25 deaths. The central government has said that there is no shortage of vaccines and has blamed state governments for bad planning. At a press conference, the Health Secretary of the Union Government has said that 1.67 crore vaccine doses have been made available to state governments and union territories so far, underlying again that the problem is not of vaccine shortage but of planning. The Health Secretary, Rajesh Bhushan, has said that states and union territories have received 13 crore vaccine doses, out of which, including wastage, there has been a total consumption of 11 crore doses so far. He said, and I quote, "This clearly shows the problem is the lack of better planning and not of vaccine dosage shortage. We have made vaccine doses available to states and union territories from time to time," end quote. India is expected to receive doses of the Sputnik 5 vaccine between April and June, as Dr. Reddy's Laboratories from Hyderabad will begin importing the vaccine, for use at this time. The final availability of the vaccine, though, will depend on factors like how many doses the government wants to procure and what the cold chain system available in the country will be. As per Dr. Reddy's Laboratories' contact with Russian Direct Investment Fund, the Hyderabad-based company is expected to receive 250 million doses of Sputnik 5. The government has also decided to increase the supply and reduce the price of antiviral drug Remdesivir. This comes after a surge of COVID cases and reports of shortages in several states and a thriving black market for this drug that is used to treat COVID patients that are hospitalized. According to the government, the installed capacity for the 7 manufacturers right now is 38.80 lakh vials per month. The government is fast-tracking approvals given to 7 additional sites that will improve capacity to 10 lakh doses per month of 6 manufacturers. This would ramp up the production for manufacturing to about 78 lakh doses per month. The National Institute of Virology in Pune has shared data with laboratories in Maharashtra that shows that out of 361 COVID samples taken in Maharashtra between January and March this year, 61% showed the double mutation of the virus. Now, on March 24th, the central government had announced the detection of the double mutant variant in only 15 to 20% of the samples, but they didn't link the variant to the second surge in the state. The Maharashtra Health Minister, Rajesh Tope, has said that they've asked the centre for a detailed report of the genome sequencing of all Maharashtra samples. The state health officials have said the role of the double mutant cannot be overlooked in Maharashtra's second wave that does seem to be more sort of spreadable or more contagious than the version we had seen last year. Now, remember yesterday we told you that 100 visitors of the Kumbh Mela in Uttarakhand had tested positive for COVID. Today that number has gone up to 1,000. Of the 50,000 samples that were taken from people in Haridwar, 408 tested positive on Monday, 594 tested positive on Tuesday. This is according to the Uttarakhand state government. Meanwhile, the officials at the Mela have said that the mega Kumbh Mela in Haridwar will continue as planned until the 30th of April. There's been no discussion to end it early because of COVID infections. This is according to a report in NDTV that said earlier today there were reports of discussions between the Uttarakhand government and religious leaders who have so far remained unconvinced about cancelling the event. Officials this evening said that no discussions of this kind have taken place and the Kumbh gathering would continue as planned. Now, we know that as many as 35 lakh people so far have taken the Snan or the traditional dip in the Ganga in the Kumbh Mela since Monday. Let's take a look now at news coming in from the world of business. The government has slashed the annual marking fee to get a Bureau of Indian Standards license and certification by 50% for startups, micro enterprises and women entrepreneurs. The Minister of Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal, has said an additional 10% rebate will be given to existing license holders, which will give a boost to the government's Vocal for Local campaign. News now coming in from across the world. South Africa has suspended the rollout of Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine. This comes after the US health agencies recommended a pause in the vaccine over potential links of a rare type of blood clot. 6 women under the age of 50 have developed rare blood clots in the United States among 6 million people who were given the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Israel's tourism ministry has announced that it will open its borders to vaccinated international travelers, including tourists, starting the 23rd of May. Visitors will have to carry a negative test report for COVID before they board their flight, and they'll have to undergo a test to prove their vaccination upon landing. The US President Joe Biden is all set to withdraw all troops from Afghanistan. Troops withdrawal will take place on the 11th of September, the 20th anniversary of the terror attacks on America that were coordinated from Afghanistan. There were 2,500 US troops in Afghanistan. Additionally, about 7,000 foreign troops, and a majority of which were from the North Atlantic Treaty or the NATO troops present in Afghanistan. US will now withdraw. Also in the United States, a 20-year-old black man, Daunte Wright, was shot dead by a Minnesota police officer, Kim Porter, on Sunday, the 11th of April. Kim Porter has resigned from her position, but according to reports, she accidentally shot Wright, mistaking her gun for a taser, which she meant to tase him, but instead shot him at a traffic stop. Following this, there have been clashes between protesters and police for 3 consecutive days. The police have arrested 60 people, more than 60 people, for riot and criminal behavior. News now from the world of science and technology. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope has captured the image of a dying galaxy. The galaxy, which is called NGC 1947, it is 45.7 million light years away from us and is apparently slowly in decline. Now, it is a rare type of galaxy which is known as a lenticular galaxy. Galaxies which are similar in structure to the Milky Way, but they lack their spiral arms. Now, the Hubble astronomers have said that this galaxy has lost most of its material that makes up its signature spiral arms, which used to orbit its center. According to NASA, most of the star-forming material is missing in this galaxy, due to which no new stars are being formed. The absence of the new star stuff, the galaxy is destined now to slowly fade away. News from the world of sports at this point. In an update from the news we gave you yesterday, Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain have advanced to the Champions League semi-finals. Chelsea managed to sneak into the semi-finals despite a 1-0 defeat to Porto last night because of a higher goal aggregate. Meanwhile, Paris Saint-Germain were beaten 0-1 but held on to the claim in an away goals victory over Bayern Munich. The calendar for the semi-finals will be communicated on the 15th of April. Here's a piece of positive news that we leave you with every night. Santra Bai, a woman from Odisha, has been reunited with her family after 4 years. She went missing apparently in 2017 when she left home to attend a wedding. A year later, 2018, she was found near a railway station all the way in Chennai by the railway police, who figured that she needed help and then sent for an NGO called Banyan that works with people who need mental health care. They found that Santra had developed bipolar disorder and started her treatment. She began to respond to the treatment, and after many months, she was able to reveal that her family lived in Orissa. The NGO decided to drop her home, but just when they were going to do so, the lockdown was called in and they couldn't travel to Chennai. The activists now managed to drop her to her home in Orissa. They were welcomed with flowers and garlands by the villagers when they united Santrabai with her family. We're going to leave you there with the news. Remember, today is Ambedkar Jayanti. It does make sense to read a little bit about what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar hoped for and wrote about and wished for this country in all the amazing work that he had done during his life. I wish you a very happy Ambedkar Jayanti. Remember, share this video with people you think might find it useful. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and tell other people the fact that we're doing the news old school style on this channel so more people can take advantage of the services that we're putting out. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.